Hi. Well, welcome and thank you for tuning in. And with this segment of me talking about my book, The Hypothesis of Getting Over the Love Hump 99 plus 1 Ways. What I want to do today is I want to tell you why my book, or not why, how my book is different from some of the other books that are out there. Okay, now my book is written specifically for it's for anyone but people with mild traumatic brain injury, PTSD, people that you're dealing with trauma. If you're dealing with hardships, challenges, obstacles, whatever it is, okay, this is the book for you. Okay, now what makes my book different from a lot of the other books out there, okay, number one, I am not a doctor, I am not a psychologist, I'm not a psychiatrist, I'm not a social worker, I'm none of that, okay? But I have experienced mild traumatic brain injury, the effects. I've experienced PTSD, I've experienced the hardships, the challenges, all of that, okay? And so my book is coming from a common thought mind perspective, okay? And it's sort of like, and like I said, there are a lot of books out there, and I don't knock them, okay? It's good, you know, and I've seen a few authors explain their book, you know, how, like one, it was on some morning news show. I forget the name of the book, but it was talking about overcoming obstacles. Okay. And it was a doctor, and then it was some, I forget the woman's name, but she had breast cancer, and she went to Sloan Kettering, and she met the doctor, and he was writing a book, and all of that good stuff. Okay, now my book is different from other books in a few ways, but I'm going to tell you about one way that my book is different today. Okay? Now, okay, when you're experiencing trauma, when you're experiencing hardship, and you're dealing with the effects of a mild traumatic brain injury, the effects of PTSD, the effects of trauma, all of that, basically, when we're going through that stuff, we're basically in an emergency type situation. Okay, basically we're on code red. Okay, code red, the largest code you can go up to, whatever that code is, right? Now, in my book, I don't give the data. I don't tell you stories. I haven't done any interviews with this one or that one. I haven't done any of that. Okay? My book, my mother read my book. And what she first told me of that is that it was very refreshing and it was very concise. And it's concise because I only talk about 3 things in this book. Okay? First of all, anything that the trauma, the mild traumatic brain injury, the PTSD, the hardship, all of that comes under one thing, and I gave it a name. Or all of that. I gave it a name, and it's the Love Hump. And in another video, I'll explain to you why it's important that it was given a name and the significance of that. But right now, I'm going to tell you this. As someone that has dealt with these things, dealt with the effects of a mild traumatic brain injury, dealt with the effects of PTSD, dealt with the effects of trauma, dealt with the effects of hardships, okay? When you need help, you know, you don't want to hear all of that other stuff. And I understand that because my approach in writing this book was from a common thought mind perspective. Okay, so, and I'm going to say it like this. If you need help, okay, because this book is to help. This book can help you, okay? Now, when you need help and you're in an emergency, okay, let's say your apartment is on fire. Or there's a fire in your apartment, whatever. So you call 911. Hello, 911, I need help. You don't want to call 911 and say, oh, okay, we just, your apartment is on fire? Okay, yeah, well, we just had a call. Last week, someone's apartment was on fire, and the people, they were very scared, and they were from Malabuca, and you don't want to hear all of that. You understand what I'm saying? Now, let's say you're on a boat. Okay, I'm just giving you emergency type situations. You're on a boat and it's taking on water. There's a hole in it somewhere and it's taking on water. You're about to drown. Okay, you're in the middle of the sea on a boat. And you call 911, you call the Coast Guard and say, hey, I need help. My boat is taking on water. It's about to sink. You don't want the Coast Guard to say, oh, yeah, really? Well, we had a situation like that last week. And, the people, they were very scared. And I tell you, there were some really nice people. And, they finally, you don't want to hear all of that, okay? All you want to hear is that, okay, we're on our way. In the meantime, try and keep the water out. Try and sit on the hole. Whatever they tell you, that's all you want to hear at that time. Okay? Or I'll give you another example. Let's say a woman is on the side of a woman is having a baby. Maybe her water breaks. She's on her way to the hospital. They're on their way to the hospital, trying to get to the hospital because she's about to have the baby, but the baby can't wait. The baby is about to come. Okay? The baby is about to come. There's no, so whoever the driver, they got to pull on the side of the road or whatever. And they call 911, right? They call 911. Let's say she's with her husband. My wife and I were on the side of the road. My baby is about to come. I don't know what to do. Okay, so you don't want to hear, look, you don't want to hear the dispatcher say, oh, really? Wow, this hasn't happened in about a year. We had an experience where the woman sounded just like you on the side of the road, and the baby wouldn't wait to come, and we had to send help, and it took 2 hours, and they had to cut the umbilical cord, and the mother was frantic, and the father was crying, and he was scared, and I told them, you don't want to hear all of that. You understand what I'm saying? When you're in an emergency type situation, you don't want to hear all of that. Not right then and there. Maybe another time, maybe at some other time, you'll want to hear that. You want to hear someone else's story. But when you're in an emergency type situation, or when you need help, you don't want to hear about other people's stories. I mean, I'm not knocking it. That's great. It's good to know that they're out there. And so that's what makes my book, The Hypothesis of Getting Over the Love Hump, that's what makes my book different. Because I leave out the stories, okay? If I do say a little something, it's just, it might be 2 or 3 sentences, okay? If I tell you, I just might mention a thing here, a thing there, okay? So I just want to be very clear, okay? There's no jumping in front of that, Okay, there's no jumping, there's nothing that can compare, because and see, and that is what also makes the difference in my book. See, my book is takes that common thought mind perspective, and so then that also makes it very therapeutic. Okay, because the truth is, if you go to a therapist, if you know, when you get to that point and you're going to a therapist for help with your mild traumatic brain injury, for help with your PTSD, for help with your trauma, for help with whatever hardships you're dealing with, for whatever all of that. Okay, if you're going to a therapist, the therapist is not, the therapist is not sitting there telling you stories about other people's stuff. They're not doing that, okay? Their focus is on you and you alone, okay? They're not going to sit there and tell you about someone else's story or what they went through. They're not going to tell you all of that, which is a good thing, because most of the time when you're in a situation where you need help, you're not really up to hearing all the stories. Okay, you're really not. So in that way, my book, The Hypothesis of Getting Over the Love Hump, it takes that therapeutic approach. Okay, I mean, it's nice to hear people's stories, but sometimes you don't want to hear them at a certain time. Okay, and so because I don't tell the stories and I don't have the data, I haven't conducted any interviews. What that does also is it respects the person, it respects the reader, in that it allows the reader basically to, it inspires the reader's own thought process. Okay, it inspires our own thought process. That's what it does. Just and it's naturally done. You know, and I'm pretty proud of that. Let me see. I'm getting a phone call. I'm gonna reject it. Okay, so that's what makes this book different as well. By leaving out the data, by leaving out the stories, and by focusing. This book is concise. It is focused. Okay, it is focused on getting over the love hump, and how we are affected by it, how we can deal with it. Okay, so I hope that that's helpful. My book right now, it is available on lulu.com. So check it out. And I guess I'll talk another time about the cover. Okay, if you check out the cover. The cover, this is my rendition for the book of the Taino symbol for the sun. Okay? Take care and pass it on, and I hope that this helps you to understand the book, what's in the book a little more. Not to mention that I have also included my play, The Piano Therapy, my creation and development of that, and I think you'll find that very interesting as well. And also that's what a lot of other books don't have. Okay, I've come up with a therapy, okay, a real life therapy in this book, and it works. So take care.